Hello children, welcome back to the class. In the previous class we have studied about reproductive system in man, male and female reproductive systems. Let us have a quick look. So man is a unisexual organism. That means male and female organisms are present in separate individuals. Male and female reproductive organs. And in male reproductive system, a pair of testes which are associated with glands and also duct system. So testes, a pair of testes are present in the sacs which are called as scrotal sacs, which are the external sacs present under the penis. And these testes, they mainly help in the production of sperms, which are male reproductive units, and also they produce a hormone which is called as testosterone. So testosterone stimulates the production of sperms, and we have seen the structure of sperms. Also, the lifespan of sperms is 2 to 3 days, and the ducts. What are the ducts involved or associated with the male reproductive system? Means first of all, these sperms are produced in small tubules which are called as seminiferous tubules. From the seminiferous tubules, the sperms pass through a duct which is called as vasa efferentia. From there, they enter into a convoluted tube which is called as epididymis, where they are stored temporarily, and then they pass through a duct which is called as vas deferens, which unites with ureter and passes through urethra, and it is sent out of the body along with the urine. Okay, that is about the male reproductive system. And what are the glands are associated with the male reproductive system? Means two corpus glands, two seminal vesicles, and one prostate gland. These are the glands which are associated with the male reproductive system. And these glands, they secrete a substance which is called as semen. So semen is the substance which helps in providing nutrients to the sperms, and it also provides a medium for the sperm to swim. So these are all the things which are associated with the male reproductive system. And in female reproductive system, a pair of ovaries are present in the abdominal cavity below the kidneys. And in the ovaries, a pair of ovaries, and in the ovaries, small vesicles, sac-like structures are present. They are called as ovarian follicles or Graafian follicles, in which primary oocytes are present. Primary oocytes produce ova, and these primary oocytes are present even before the birth of the female child, but the formation of ovum will take place at the age of, as I written, at the age of 12 to 13 years, and it continues up to 50 to 55 years. And in the case of males, the sperm production continues throughout the life, but in case of females, it usually starts from 13 to 14 years and continues till the age of 50 to 55 years. So the production of ova, how it takes place, that means the number of ova produced in the female reproductive system is very less in number. So that means one ovary produces one ovum at a time. How in the ovary, if follicles, sac-like structures are present, they are called as Graafian follicles or ovarian follicles. In each follicle, one ovum is produced. When the ovum matures, the follicle ruptures and releases the ovum into the body cavity. And this ovum is collected by tube-like structures which are called as fallopian tubes. Okay, and in the females, in males, the testes produce testosterone. In females, the ovary produces two hormones. What are they? That is estrogen and progesterone. So estrogen is responsible for the growth and development of secondary sexual characters in females, and progesterone helps. It is produced during the time of pregnancy. So let us see what is the function of progesterone. So in human reproductive system, fertilization is said to be internal. Where it takes place? It takes place in the fallopian tubes. So when the fertilization takes place, that means the sperm. In the sperm, we have already studied the structure of sperm. Sperm is motile and it is having a structure towards the head piece, a structure which is called as acrosome, which helps in the process of fertilization. So this acrosome, with the help of acrosome, the process of fertilization takes place in the fallopian tube, and as a result of fertilization, zygote is formed. So this zygote they undergoes only mitotic cell divisions, and and forms a group of cells, and it develops into embryo. So this embryo has two membranes and it passes towards the uterus. How means in the fallopian tube, small hair-like structures are present which are called as cilia. They help in pushing the embryo towards the uterus. So slowly the embryo reaches the uterus. So uterus, if you see the structure of uterus, even before the fertilization, the uterus is a thin-walled sac-like structure, and it is with poorly supplied blood. That means the blood supply is very poor. But after fertilization, what happens? The walls of the uterus become thick, and the uterus is richly supplied with blood. And so why the walls become thick means the uterus has to bear the increasing size of the embryo. So the embryo gradually moves towards the uterus and it settles down in the uterus. How? This embryo has two membranes, chorion and amnion. So chorion develops finger-like projections and it establishes connection with the inner wall of the uterus of the mother, which by means of a structure called placenta. The finger-like structures or projections are called placenta, and this process is called implantation. So the hormone produced by the ovary, progesterone, helps in the process of implantation. Okay, next through the placenta, the growing embryo. Now after implantation, the embryo is called as fetus. So this fetus receives nutrients through placenta from the uterus of the mother by means of a process which is called as diffusion. Okay. Now the embryo has termed as fetus, and it has established connection with the inner wall of the uterus of the mother, and it is receiving nutrients by means of diffusion. What are the nutrients? And also oxygen, and it is releasing carbon dioxide and waste material into the uterus of the mother. And next, after 12 weeks, it is growing. That means this chorion and amnion. Amnion is the inner membrane which encloses a fluid which is called as amniotic fluid. So this amniotic fluid protects and helps the growing fetus from external shocks and injuries. It protects the fetus from mechanical injuries. Next one is, so in the fetus, by 12 weeks of pregnancy, all the organs are formed, and further after 12 weeks, the growth and the development of the organs will take place. And next, the sex of the embryo is determined by 6 weeks of pregnancy. Actually, in the fetus, the heartbeat starts from 6 to 7 weeks of pregnancy. So in this way, the fetus grows by taking nutrients and oxygen from the mother and releasing carbon dioxide and waste materials into the uterus of the mother. Now, so the fetus, growing fetus requires a certain period of time for its complete growth and development, which is called as gestation period. And at the same time, so we have seen that through placenta it is receiving nutrients and oxygen. And another structure is developed. That means there is another membrane which is called as allantois. So this allantois connects the digestive system of the fetus and the uterus of the mother and the fetus. It forms a cord which is called as umbilical cord. Through this umbilical cord, the fetus receives again nutrients and oxygen and sends out carbon dioxide and waste materials. So placenta is one structure, and through alenda is another membrane. A structure is connected to the mother, uterus of the mother and the fetus, which is called as umbilical cord. So through this, the fetus requires and it grows. So certain period is complete period is required for the growth and development of the fetus, which is called as a gestation period. So how can we define gestation period? Gestation period is one which is required for the complete growth and development of the fetus in the uterus of the mother. So this gestation period varies from one animal to another animal, but in human beings it is about 280 days or 9 months. So after complete the growth of the fetus in the uterus of the mother, due to interaction of the hormones between the fetus and the mother, contractions in the vagina of the female reproductive system will take place that will result in childbirth. And after the child is born, the connection, that is umbilical cord, is cut and the child is separated from the mother. So that is how the growth and development of the fetus will take place. And now, suppose what happens if fertilization does not take place. So, after the formation of the ovum waits for 24 hours for fertilization. If fertilization does not take place, the unfertilized ovum along with the mucus and inner wall of the uterus of the mother is sent out, discharged along with some amount of blood. So, here we have seen, so the formation of ovum takes place between two ovaries. That means once one ovary produces one ovum, and second time another ovary produces another ovum. That means the production of ovum alternates between the two ovaries, which takes place in the form of a cycle that is called as a menstrual cycle. If the fertilization does not take place, the unfertilized ovum is discharged out along with the mucous membrane of the uterus and sent out of the body. So that is how the process of fertilization will take place. And that is about male and female reproductive system, and what are all the changes that are taking place in female reproductive system after fertilization. So what happens if the fertilization does not take place? That is the thing. And next we'll come to reproductive health. So actually reproductive health is very important. That means a person, for a healthy society, health of individual is very important. So that is why marriages which are taking place at very early stage is not at all acceptable. So that is why government has decided a minimum age for marriage, that is 18 years for girls and 21 years for boys. Okay, so that is how, that means the why, that means there is the development of physical and mental development is very important to get married, and financial stability must be very important. So then the taking care of the family, certain age is required. So that is why it is very important to attain certain age of marriage. So that is why the marriage which are taking place before the age, that means before the 18 years for the women and 21 years for men is not at all required. So minimum age for the marriage is set by the government. And now there are certain diseases which are sexually transmitted diseases. That means suppose if a person is indulging himself in unsafe sex and antisocial activities, he has a chance to come in contact with certain sexually transmitted diseases. That means bacterial diseases like gonorrhea, syphilis, etc., and viral diseases like HIV, AIDS. So that is why the person should always be lead a disciplined life, and he should not indulge himself in antisocial activities, indulging in sex, unsafe sex, etc. And he should set a goal in his life and try to achieve it, and he should lead a disciplined life. That is one thing. And population is increasing a lot. So that is why there are so many problems. That means the scarcity of food, shelter, employment. So many problems are there. So that is why it is very important to have control over the population. So how population can be controlled? That means in olden days death rate was more, but now the death rate decreased and birth rate has increased, and also there are a lot of medical improvement, and the lifespan of man has increased, and the population size is increasing a lot. That is why it is very important to control the size of the population. How? Means there are different methods. What is termination of pregnancy? Termination of pregnancy, which is called as abortion, which is very harmful to the health of the mother. So that is why it should not be practiced. And there are contraceptive methods. What are contraceptive methods? Means prevention of pregnancy. Pregnancy can be prevented by different methods, which is safe and healthy practice. So how that means? By taking hormonal pills which prevent ovulation, that means the formation of ova, and drugs which will kill the sperms. So the sperms, if the sperms are killed, then the fertilization will not take place. And using of condoms and intrauterine devices, these are so many methods by means of which the birth rate can be controlled. That means fertilization can be prevented and birth rate can be controlled. And there are surgical methods also, vasectomy and tubectomy. So what is vasectomy? Vasectomy means blocking the vas difference. If the vas difference is blocked, the sperms cannot pass through. So that is why fertilization will not take place. And in the same way, tubectomy. Tubectomy means the fallopian tubes are blocked so that the fertilization will not take place. So in this way, by surgical methods, we can prevent the pregnancy and control the population. That is one thing. And here one more important thing we have to discuss is female foeticide. That means due to increase in knowledge in medical field, the doctors are able to identify the fetus is male or female, and people are taking advantage of this, and they are killing the female fetus. If they come to know that the fetus is female, they are killing it. That means they do not want to use it, which is a bad practice, which should not be done. It should be prevented. That means determination of sex even before the birth is always should not be done. That is, suppose if the female children or female fetus are killed, what happens? Naturally, the female population will decrease. So in the nature, there is always a chance for the formation of 1:1%, 1:1 ratio in the nature. But when the female foeticide takes place, the ratio will get disturbed, and there is lot of impact on this society. That means we should not be done. We should not go against the nature. And the next one is consanguineous marriages. That means marriages between closely related people. So the consanguineous marriages are not at all advisable, because the next generation will suffer with genetically linked diseases. So as much as possible, consanguineous marriages should not take place. So this is about the reproductive system in man. Okay. Did you understand? Hope you have understood. And if you have any doubts, you are always welcome, and let us discuss if you have any doubts. Okay. Thank you.